All right, an article by Tim Kaufman over at farout.com quotes Geddy Lee naming who he feels is the greatest bass player on the planet. Calls him, quote, an incredible talent. And while the article mentions really famous bass players such as John Entwistle, the name that Geddy Lee puts forward as the greatest bass player on the planet might not be familiar to a lot of people out there. And I'm going to give you that name in just a minute. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a little sample of his playing. So let's listen in here real quick. Alright, right there you just heard the person that Geddy Lee feels is the greatest bass player on the planet. And that player's name, if you haven't guessed already, is Jeff Berlin. Now, Jeff Berlin is a jazz fusion bass player who originally came to prominence by playing with the drummer Bill Bruford in the band Bruford. He studied at Berklee College of Music and he went on to become one of the most respected bass players in the world, as well as one of the most respected bass instructors in the world. Now, Geddy Lee names him as the greatest bass player on the planet with good reason, because Jeff Berlin is what you would call a complete musician, meaning he understands music through and through, and he understands what the bass guitar can do in virtually every capacity. He can play any kind of technique and any kind of style of music, and he can also explain to you the history and lineage of those types of music, and as well as the technical specifics of the notes and arrangements that the bass is doing. So he is a total package. Now, I think there are two key things to keep in mind about Geddy Lee picking him as the greatest bass player on the planet. First is that he said he is the greatest bass player on the planet. He did not say he is the greatest bass player that ever lived, that ever drew breath, that ever picked up the instrument. So there's still a little bit of mystery. In fact, you might wonder if asked, well, who is the greatest bass player ever in history, whether or not Geddy would choose a different player. The second important thing, I think, is that he picked a non-rock musician. And I don't think that this is because Geddy is prejudiced against rock music. In fact, I think it's purely because he believes that Jeff Berlin is the best player. If Jeff Berlin focused on hard rock music, Geddy would still respect him the same amount as he does now. Although it's probably only jazz and jazz fusion that allow Jeff Berlin to fully express himself and show what he can do on the bass. So Geddy's choice of Jeff Berlin as the greatest bass player on the planet is not surprising from a technical or artistic point of view, but it might be surprising to some Geddy Lee fans who aren't familiar with Berlin and fusion type music. So I'd like to hear what you think about this, and put down into the comment section if you think that Jeff Berlin is the greatest bass player on the planet, and if not, who you think it is. Personally, I would choose a different name, but I think you've got to respect Geddy Lee when he speaks about the bass. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Also, check out the join button that's available now. If you choose to become a channel member, you'll gain access to members-only videos, members-only polls, members-only badges, and other cool perks you'll see when you click on the button. You can also help out the channel by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link, going to the Buy Me a Coffee site, and leaving a donation. Every little bit helps this channel stay strong. Thanks a lot.